Hello everyone, and welcome to another Let's Play of The Royal Trap by Hanako Games. My name is Anna Mardal. Today we're going through Chapter 5, Chapter 5B. We're going for the good Gaston ending. I did notice that they've fixed the Steam achievements on Steam so that now I'm getting achievements for the three endings that I've done: the good Gaston ending, the good Oscar ending, and the no alliance non-standard game over. And I did want to ask everyone, because I usually try to go through and do a walkthrough for each Steam achievement. I'm still going through the Long Live the Queen ones, and with this there's a lot of overlap in the reading, so I don't know if everyone wants to hear me read through the same stuff, 11-12 times, or if you'd like me to utilize the skip button for the stuff we've already seen. So weigh in the comments, because that will probably affect my decision. I don't know if I want to read the game 12 times, but that'll probably affect a little bit how we go. So let's go ahead and load up the game, and we're doing Chapter 5B, The Jester. I sit on my prison bed, absently toying with a bit of loose string. I am not being mistreated. They've even remembered to feed me. Not pastries and tiger nut milk, of course, but not pig slops either. The amenities don't go so far as to include a bath, but, well, one can't have everything. Isolation is meant to be its own form of torment. In time, it will be, I know that. For the moment, though, the solitude is peaceful. I've been kept on edge for too long, worrying about my future, worrying about Oscar, watching those around me for signs of violence and betrayal. Now it's all out of my hands. There is a kind of freedom in that. Memories, dreams, and fantasies swirl unfettered in my mind, replaying past events and imagining how they might have turned out differently. Not to obsess about what I should done, but things that would have been too dangerous or ridiculous to consider, and the amusing outcomes they might have provoked. Imagine the scene if I had stolen that wig from the hands of Gaston's maid and tried to pass Oscar off as the lost princess. Would Caleb have been fooled? Would he have taken Oscar for his lost brother Caspian? What if Prince Gaston had tried to romance him? So many possibilities. Lost in my thoughts, I haven't yet had time to grow lonely, and thus turn only half an ear to the sound of someone approaching. You! Me? I stand and peer through the bars of my cell, catching a glimpse of an unexpected face. You should be ashamed of yourself, you horrible beast woman! What? Isn't that Prince Gaston's maid? What is she doing down here? Don't you know what you have done? Monsieur is inconsolable. I told him, and told him that he could not trust you, that you were a thief and a coward. But no, he wanted to believe in your pretty brown eyes, and you let him. What are you talking about? He trusted you. You let him think that you were a friend, that you were helping him. He what? When he found me in his rooms. He asked me to find and rescue Princess Cassidy and tell her that he had sent me. I had forgotten. He believed your heart was pure. Now he weeps and chastises himself for his folly. I am sure you find this very amusing. You have no respect for a good man. I hope you rot. She turns to leave. Trapped in here, I can't stop her. All I can do is call out, "Colette, wait!" Is Prince Gaston truly that upset? What do you care? You are a villain. I can't tell her the truth, and given my current position, she would have little reason to believe me. Of all the prisoners who claim to be innocent victims, how many actually are? Still, there may be some way to present myself in a more sympathetic light. So we have, I am in awe of Gaston, or it was an accident. I'm gonna pick it was an accident. It was an accident. I never meant for anyone to be harmed, least of all Gaston. I only wished to serve my master. I wanted to make him a hero. It would have been a glorious gift, but it got out of hand. You of all people should understand. You care for your master, do you not? You would do things for him, even if they seem strange? Like, for example, dressing up as a princess so that he can woo you as her proxy? Once I had started, I didn't know how to stop it without making things worse. I never intended to make Prince Gaston feel bad, and I have kept his secret. I do not believe you. Look, does it really matter why I care? I do, that's all. Maybe I can help. You wish to trick me. I will never release you. I don't want you to release me. I'm quite fine where I am, thank you. All I want to do is help you cheer up Gaston. I'm not entirely sure why I'm bothering, other than that it gives me something to do. A little bit of harmless fun, and maybe a useful ear who can help me find out what's going on outside this cell? Yes, there are possibilities, and I shouldn't let them slip by. There is nothing that you could do to cheer him up. Oh no? Then think about this. Gaston feels upset and betrayed, but how much more upset do you think Princess Cassidy feels? She's been through a terrible ordeal. She needs his strong arms to lean on. You are mocking his fantasies. No, I'm not. Look, I ended up spending a bit of time with Cassidy outside of the palace. She really is sweet and innocent. And there were unexpected dangers outside. We barely managed to get her back safely. Right now is an excellent time for Gaston to offer Cassidy his support. She likes flowers and butterflies. Why would you tell me this? So that maybe I can make things a little better for at least one person. I'm really not a horrible beast woman, I promise. And I'm not, truly. But I am a woman with very few options available at the moment. Cassidy knows what really happened out there. I have no idea what her opinion of the cover-up is. She wasn't present at my little trial. She may not even know where I am. I can't risk being in contact with Oscar because it might damage his reputation. Cassidy is a different story. It is her family who is pulling the strings here, and they certainly wouldn't want to cast doubt on their own heir. Finding a way to get in touch with her could be useful, and this is one way to start. Perhaps you are right. Yes, if he thinks of her feelings, he will give up his despair. I hope it works. Will you let me know? I owe you nothing. But perhaps. And then she's gone. With my limited viewing angle, she only has to take a few steps to vanish from my sight completely. Well then, it seems I'm not completely without resources after all. Of course, this could still come to nothing. There's no way to know. Thus, for the moment, I remain at loose ends, floating between moments without so much as a deck of cards with which to amuse myself. But that is not so terrible. I still have a window. My parents believe that children should be seen and not heard. This applied more to myself than to my sister, for she was older and heir, not just a child. In those lessons which we shared, I was meant to wait my turn while she asked the questions. In public, I was meant to listen, not speak. And so I did. I could sit in a chair for hours, never moving, never speaking. Easy enough if there was a scene of interest unfolding in front of me. Easy also if my seat allowed me a glimpse of the outdoors. Sunlight on leaves, grass in the breeze. Somehow the sight of these sets my mind free to wandering. I could be a rabbit leaping across the hills. I could be an insect with a pretty red and black shield on my back. Or perhaps I could be a fairy of dawn, painting each blade of grass with its tiny drop of dew. It has been a long time since I last remembered my daydreams, but they are still out there waiting for me. I stare out the window, lost in my mind, until at last darkness comes and I find sleep. It is the sunlight again that rouses me in the morning. For those first moments I don't quite remember where I am, and roll up against the stone wall when trying to get out of bed. Then, of course, it all comes back to me. Nothing to do but wait. I may as well go back to sleep. How often do I get the chance to lie in with my regular occupation? But as I should have expected, it is not quite so easy to convince my body to return to slumber. Instead, I lie awake, staring up at the stone ceiling. I wonder how many blocks there are over my head. I could count them. Excuse me, if you please? Colette! I climb to my feet, brushing back my hair as best I can, although I doubt anyone expects me to look my best in a prison cell. Good morning. As you say, I wished to tell you that Monsieur is somewhat improved. What happened? Did he talk to her? He insisted upon riding to Alela to find a market flower seller and assemble a fresh bouquet. Then he returned to the palace, but the guards of the princess are under orders never to let her alone. They might not even have opened the door had Monsieur's voice not been so loud that the princess herself wished to see what passed. So it is well he delivered his tribute. The princess, he saw her only for a moment. But now he sighs and remembers her touch against his hand. Well, he saw Cassidy, but he didn't talk to her, and none of my questions are answered. If I'm going to get anywhere with this, I need to push him further. You're very fond of Gaston, aren't you? Of course I am fond of him. He is my master, and a good and kind man besides. But are you interested in him romantically? What? He seemed to believe that you were, but he has a unique way of seeing the world. Simply because you may have given me a little tip does not mean that we are friends. My business with you is finished. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pry. I know it's none of my business. It's only that I want to help. But if I help Prince Gaston secure Cassidy's affections, and you have feelings of your own, then I would have hurt you by accident. And I am trying not to do that. Why should you wish such a thing? Monsieur is not your master. So our options are I want Gaston to like me, or I need a new master. I'm gonna pick I want Gaston to like me. Because I like your Prince Gaston. As you say, he is a good man. I wish for him to be happy, and perhaps to think a bit better of me for it. I would prefer that he remember me fondly. I'm certainly not in love with Gaston. I have barely even met him, but she should sympathize with that line of thinking. There are a lot of good people in the world. Why wouldn't I want them to be happy and to like me? So cold. You are a very strange woman. I don't see what's so strange or cold about what I've said. You don't have to take my advice if you don't want to. But don't you want to make Gaston happy? I've spent more time with Cassidy than you have. I know how she thinks. I will listen. I promise nothing. The princess has been kept under close control most of her life for her safety. She's used to it. But she's starting to feel lonely and curious about the world around her. Prince Gaston should invite Cassidy for a walk and bring the guards as chaperones. She won't mind having them nearby. She didn't mind us all being in a clump when we were returning to the castle after all. And if there are more assassins around, it probably is a good idea to keep guards close to her. Not only that, she's still shaken up from everything that happened. She needs to be around people she can talk to. Gaston should invite her to confide in him so that he can comfort her. You are very certain about what other people should do, no? I'm only trying to manipulate us. You are like a rat in the shadows. You move people around like a game. Uh-oh. For some reason, I appear to have rubbed Colette the wrong way. You say you are sorry, but you are not sorry. You do the same things that put you in this cell. That's not true! Well, it is true that I'm trying to manipulate her, and it's true that I'm here because someone is playing games. But I haven't done anything to hurt anyone. I can't lose contact with Colette now, or she'll never come back. What do I do? So we can appeal to logic, or we can appeal to emotions. I'm gonna go for emotions. Just because. Please don't go. The truth is, I'm scared. I'm all alone in here. I've got nothing to do and no one to talk to. I'm trying to find ways to make you happy so that you'll come back and see me again. I don't have anything else to offer. I strain my eyes, letting the pressure build up behind them so that they sting and redden, concentrating on unhappy thoughts. Please, don't hate me. There is nothing to be ashamed of in using whatever weapons you happen to have in your arsenal. Colette works for a melodramatic man. She is used to such displays. Anything less will mark me as heartless. Besides, everything that I am doing is for a good purpose. I don't mean any harm to her or to Gaston. It would be best for everyone if she believes me. I'm not even lying. Not exactly. I cannot trust you. She's wavering. Perhaps I will see you again later. Thank you. Well, she's gone. Hopefully she'll come back. But will she bother to pass along my suggestions to Prince Gaston? I don't need access to Colette. What I want is access to Cassidy. It's a very fragile chain of connections to hang my hopes on. With the maid gone, there is once again nothing in particular for me to do. I don't feel much like sitting idle at the moment, so I pace a pattern across the stones of my cell. Nothing too energetic, not when I don't have the luxury of being clean afterwards. Still, it wouldn't do to let my body fall completely out of practice. Not that I have often been called upon to use my skills in the heat of combat. A good companion is a noble's last line of defense, one that should remain in reserve. I have more experience in sparring or chasing off boisterous drunks than I do in resisting assassination. I will defend what needs defending, but I could never become a fighter for hire. I could never kill for coin. Colette saw me as someone cold and calculating, but I do have feelings. I struggle with them. I try to keep them under control when they might become a distraction, but I know that they exist. I don't want to become a heartless person. Still, hearts and dreams are wonderful things, but someone has to be able to get things done. I work hard to protect the future of those who matter to me. To do that, I have to think clearly. After a while, someone brings me food. Bread, a bit of fish, and cold stew. Compared, absolutely, it is a better meal than we managed yesterday morning. Still, I would rather be there at the riverside than here, if I had the choice. So many things that a person might want are completely impossible to achieve. If, for example, I wished that I had been born a princess, what good would that do me? That wish could never come true. I don't think I'd actually want to be a princess or a king's wisdom anyway. Look at Cassidy. She is just as trapped in her role as I am in mine. The great game plays with us all. Time passes. Time and time and time. I don't know if Colette is ever coming back. Wait, I think I hear someone. You! That's not Colette. How can such a creature exist? Prince Gaston? A vile snake! and a vision of loveliness, a traitor whose acts cannot be forgiven, a kind heart who has delivered to me a priceless gift. These things together in one body, it cannot be. What gift do you speak of, my lord? Was it not your guidance, your treacherous, wonderful guidance, that has led me to my beloved? Ah, Colette must have told him. I didn't think she would want him to come down to the dungeons. I suppose I don't entirely understand her yet, but I am grateful. So you have been speaking with Princess Cassidy, my lord? I have basked in the glow of her presence. These hands have held her even as she trembled. And it was you who brought her to this weakness. But it was also you who brought her to my arms. There must be something more behind this. Perhaps this is play acting? Could it be that my beloved princess has arranged all of this as a show in order to guide the two of us together? No, my exquisite flower is not capable of spinning such a web, such is her purity of spirit. And she would know that it was unnecessary. She would know that she only had to call for me, and I would come. That leaves you, still, as this thing I cannot comprehend. My lord, you are correct. Cassidy is a gentle and innocent soul who would never risk harming another by deception. You do not have to tell me this. She is my beloved, and I know these things. But what of you? How can you be yourself and also a villain? It is possible that there was a trick played, causing a misunderstanding. Not by the princess, of course. Did she speak to you about me? We spoke of you only briefly. Her gentle heart found it hard to dwell on the contradiction you have created. You betrayed her and stole her from the palace, wounding her fragile feet. And yet, your own swift action saved her from an assassin's strike. And so she spared your life as you saved hers. But without you, her life would never have been in danger. It does not make sense. No, it doesn't. Something in that description rings false. I did fight the assassin for her, but overall that story sounds like Dolores. When you were talking to her about me, did she ever mention my name? What? Your name? I do not remember. You're not sure if she mentioned me by name? I am not entirely certain I remember what your name is. I don't know if she mentioned it. That is not important. It could be very important. What if Cassidy has no idea that I've been imprisoned? Oscar said that he and Caleb and Cassidy were separated. Colette said that Cassidy has been kept under guard ever since. If someone told her only that the servant girl was imprisoned and not executed, she would believe they meant Dolores. She would have no reason to suspect otherwise. Knowing that her kidnapper's life was not in danger, she would have no reason to intervene, no reason to visit the dungeons or ask any further questions. If that's true, then she's being manipulated by her own family. I need to get a message to her. And I think I have a plan. My lord, you wish to aid the Princess Cassidy, do you not? Yes, of course. Even against shadowy dangers and confusions, even if it is difficult? A man fears no shadow. Good. I need you to deliver a message to Princess Cassidy. These exact words. Madeline is in the dungeon. When you tell her that, she should tell you what to do next. But I do not understand. You are Madeline? My beloved already knows your sentence. It is a secret code phrase, my lord. You must tell it only to the princess, and only when no other can hear you. But if my beloved would not deceive me, then why would there be a secret? The princess will explain everything to you, my lord. You must put your faith in her. Of course, I will not fail her. Good. This way, if for some reason Cassidy is involved in the cover-up, I haven't told him anything he shouldn't know. There is still potential for misunderstanding, of course. The workings of Gaston's mind are an unplumbed jungle, and I can't be sure exactly what he will tell her. I can't guess whether she will understand, or whether he will be able to answer any questions she might have. However, I have his measure now, and there is one thing I can depend on. Prince Gaston will do his utmost to serve Princess Cassidy. You should not linger here, my lord, not while there is so much afoot. Perhaps we may speak again in the future. Yes, I must go. I must prepare. Yes, you do that. As Gaston charges off in quest of a damsel in distress, I sink onto my flimsy prison cot, feeling giddy with the relief of a plan properly coming together. I am not out of the game yet. Even if my ploy with Cassidy fails, I have been instrumental in bringing Gaston and his princess closer to each other. There may be some benefit in that. Of course, it is not Gaston whose romantic interests I am meant to be serving. Oscar. So far, he has obeyed my instructions and stayed away from the dungeons. I don't know how long I can expect that to last. I hope he is well. Is it a betrayal of my oath to Oscar if I end up causing Princess Cassidy to choose another? They seemed fond of each other, but I would not say they were in love on either side. With the need to cover up the current situation, the King of Guelinor would not likely wish Oscar for a successor. Oscar himself said he would not want to return here. And yet, I could have chosen to simply wait here in silence and solitude until I returned to Osendower. I didn't have to keep meddling. Is it only my own pride that I am serving now? I don't know. I do know that lies are being told, that there are forces at work which I haven't yet been able to identify, and that there are dangers lurking which have not been neutralized. And as long as I'm trapped in here, I can't do anything. And so I wait. Eagerly at first, then patiently, then not so patiently. Only the changing hue of sunlight in the window overhead gives me any sense of time passing. Small amounts would be too subtle to guess, but this is not subtle. Night approaches, and no one is coming. Night. After a day spent mostly still and waiting, sleep does not come so easily. I lie alone in the dark, my senses picking out every sound that forms. A drip in the distance, a stray breeze, tiny skittering movements, insectile, not rodent, which is only a minor relief. Sleep sounds like such an easy thing to do, doesn't it? You lie down, you close your eyes, and you drift away. Except when you are waiting for it to arrive, and it seems like it never will. Waiting, always waiting. What a waste of time this is! Lying in bed, waiting for some greater force that I can't control to come and carry me off. It should be my choice. I should be able to say, sleep now, and have it happen. Why can't I? Why do we put up with this? Am I angry? Why am I angry? Who am I angry at? I can't be angry at sleep. That doesn't make sense. I think. My thoughts are becoming confused. Sunlight. Morning. I must have fallen asleep eventually. I can't remember. I think being trapped is starting to prey on my mind. Wait, did I just say that out loud? That's not a good sign. I need to get out of here, but no one is coming. Calm down. I can do this. I haven't really been in here that long, and I won't be here for that much longer. I am fine. I'm sure someone will come soon. Colette, Gaston, Oscar. But time passes and no one arrives. Have I done something wrong? Have I failed? Footsteps, then a rattle at the door. That must be my next meal arriving. But then someone steps into the room. Princess Cassidy. How did you get the keys? Did you tell the Warrens you were going to interrogate me? What? No. I told them to let me in because I'm the princess. Now shh, we don't have much time. If my parents are watching me, they may send someone to take me back. Take her back where? Is she running away? Don't you have guards with you? Of course I have guards with me. They're my guards. They're waiting outside like I told them to. Now put this on. She hitches up her skirt and produces a massed bundle of fabric that she was hiding underneath, which she throws at me. Unrolling it, I find another gown like the one she's wearing, and a familiar mass of pink hair, a wig. What is this? I'm getting you out of here. You disguise yourself as me, then go back to my room with the guards. Once you're there, lock yourself in, then change clothes and go out the window and get to Gaston's room. You can climb, can't you? Caleb said you could. Yes, I can, but all of a sudden, everything is happening so fast. Shouldn't we talk about this first? Make plans? Don't you want to be free? I was willing to give up my freedom to protect Oscar. I can't escape if it gets him into trouble. I'm not letting you stay here while you're innocent. It's wrong. Right and wrong and politics don't always mix. I need your help to sort out what's happening around here. You can't do that while you're in the dungeons. So I order you to escape. Technically, she's not in charge of me, but she is a princess. Yes, my lady. It's funny how well that works. All this time, and I never tried it before. Anyway, you don't have to worry about Prince Oscar. They've been keeping him under tight guard. Even I couldn't reach him. So he obviously couldn't have helped you escape, could he? Now get dressed. It is a relief to peel off the clothing I've been wearing for too long, even if I do feel guilty about getting Cassidy's fine gown dirty. Fitting myself into the gown is not an easy task either. I would not call myself voluptuous, but my figure does have more curves to it than Cassidy's does, and her clothing does not exactly fit me, especially in the bosom. I have to hold my breath and tug and squeeze, and I can hear threads tearing as I do it. Oh well, someone can mend it later. As I settle the wig on my head, I notice Cassidy is watching me with a very strange expression on her face. What's the matter? Is something wrong? This is Madeline talking, but we have a new Cassidy face, so it's confusing for a second. What's the matter? Is something wrong? No. Later, we need to hurry. She reaches up and adjusts the wig for me. It's funny. You do look a bit like me. I never thought so before. Changing someone's hair changes a lot about the way they look. Yes. Anyway, you should go. Go to my room and try not to look anyone in the eye on the way. I know how to play a part. Yes, Caleb said you would. Is everyone in on this plan? No, there's no time to discuss it. Just get to my room, then get to Gaston's room without being seen. And be quick. You need to be there and hidden before I call for someone to let me out. Oh! Here, my shoes. She kicks them off, leaving her feet surprisingly bare. Put them on. I hope they don't fit too badly. While I slide my feet into the royal slippers, Princess Cassidy eyes my lumpy prison cot. After only a moment's hesitation, she lies down on it and pulls the rough blanket over herself, arranging it so that only one arm and one bare foot are visible. Good luck. I'll see you when I can. I hope she knows what she's doing. I hope I know what I'm doing. I take a deep breath and try to think delicate, princess-like thoughts. Here we go. I walk down the hall, my gaze tipped slightly down so that my hair will fall more concealingly around my face. My breathing is a bit too loud, a bit too ragged, intentionally so. The visible signs of being upset do make the guards want to hover protectively near me, but they also explain why I waved them back and why I am proceeding directly to my rooms. Let them assume that whatever I saw in the dungeons has unsettled my fragile nerves. Truly, I am surprised at the hints of steel now emerging from the real Cassidy. Our first encounters gave the impression that she was little more than a paper doll to be blown away by the breeze, but she is a future wisdom after all. As for myself, my rapid breathing may not be entirely feigned. This little disguise is exciting, but dangerous. Your Highness! A steward of Guelinor, whose name I do not know. Your Highness, if you please, the wisdom requests that you attend her at the earliest opportunity. Please, I'm not feeling well. I need to lie down. I move rapidly past her with no further explanation. After all, I am a princess. I can do that. Ah, your most gracious Highness. Uh-oh. Prince Nazagi. As fellow royalty, he is someone that I can't brush off quite so easily, not without looking more than a bit odd. I regret that I have not had the opportunity to convey my good wishes to you since the ordeal of your abduction. Are you quite recovered? Thank goodness, an easy escape route. You are very kind. I am afraid I am still feeling quite fragile. I was on my way to rest my eyes for a bit. Ah, well then, I shall not keep you. Oh dear, he's coming closer. If I might... If he might what? He's holding out his hand. Ah, he wants to kiss Cassidy's hand. Would she have let him? Probably. I can't imagine her doing anything other than blushing and allowing it. I turn my head away, feigning maidenly shyness, and present my hand for his attention. For a moment, nothing happens. What is he waiting for? Does he suspect? Don't panic. Hold still. Wait. After a moment, I feel his lips brush against my fingers. I hope that you will feel more refreshed in the near future. Thank you. And there we part ways. If he did suspect anything, he isn't choosing to make an issue of it at the moment. Still, that was too close. I've got to get out of these hallways. Time to pick up the pace. At last I find myself in Princess Cassidy's private bedroom. The space is quite unlike the house quarters we foreigners are housed in. It is lush and spacious and almost terrifyingly pink. In this place, gentle folds of luxury enclose the princess like the petals of a rose, at least until they suffocate her. Even her bed is a curtained alcove atop a pedestal. Still, tastes differ. Simply because I would not like to live in such a room does not necessarily mean that Cassidy feels trapped here. No time for a detailed look around. I need to move on before someone discovers the real princess and comes in search of the imposter. The plan is for me to go out the window, then find another window where I can re-enter and make my way to Prince Gaston's room without being spotted. Unfortunately, I no longer have access to my own special boots and gloves. I certainly can't clamber around in this dress. Even if I didn't fall to my death, I would surely attract too much attention when I got back inside. I shimmy out of Cassidy's dress, then, thinking to leave as little evidence as possible, put it carefully away with other clothing. Does the princess truly own no full-length hose? All I can find are half hose and garters. I suppose if she only ever wears long skirts, she has no need for other leg coverings, but it's very inconvenient for me now. There must be something here, but how much time do I have? At last I find a dress of simple lines in a dark color that might, at a great distance, be mistaken for a steward's uniform. That and my hands and feet, bare to grip the stone, is the best I can do. Next issue, my hair. I don't really want to leave the wig here, where it will certainly be found, nor do I want to resemble Cassidy once I return to the palace. If anyone thinks they saw Cassidy slip into Gaston's rooms, I'd never be able to hide. I could simply throw the wig out the window and hope it lands in brush where no one is likely to spot it for a while. With less luck, however, it might catch on a tree branch and wave like a banner. There's also the matter that I am currently known to be a criminal and a traitor. Being seen as myself out and about could be just as dangerous. I look at my reflection in Cassidy's mirror, pondering what she said earlier. Changing someone's hair changes a lot about the way they look. Quickly now, I restyle the wig's hair, pulling it up into a high bun, with tendrils left to dangle. Strange dress, strange hair. I shouldn't look too much like either myself or Cassidy, as long as I can avoid any close encounters. Right, time to go. Ordinarily, this would be a simple matter of in and out, quick and clean. Ordinarily, I wouldn't be wearing ill-fitted, borrowed clothes and balancing a wig on my head. I wouldn't be without my equipment. I wouldn't be distracted by a growling stomach. I wouldn't be dazzled by the light after 2 days of being locked up without it. I wouldn't have knees feeling wobbly from too much time inactive. Most importantly, in normal circumstances, if the climb looked bad, I could change my mind and look for another way. No more negative thoughts. Negative thoughts are a distraction. I've done climbs like this many, many times, and I've never fallen yet, because I'm good at what I do. I am still in control. The game is constantly shifting around me, but I can ride the waves. I can change my plans. I can always find a way to come out on top. I can always find a way to hide that I have no idea what is going on around here. No, that's a negative thought. Ease along. Careful. Careful. Once I find a safely unobserved and unlocked window to slip through, then all I have to do is find my way back to Prince Gaston's room without being challenged, and then I don't know what's supposed to happen next. Maybe I shouldn't have agreed to this. Too late now. Let's see what happens. It was easy enough to pass through the halls without drawing attention in my new guise as an anonymous servant. Thus far, there has been no sign of panic. Cassidy must be holding her nerve. Officiously, as if I had every right in the world to be there, I made my way to Gaston's room and knocked for admittance. Madeline! Quite to my surprise, no sooner have I entered the room than I am caught up in a crushing bear hug by Prince Gaston. I knew you could not be a villain. I can see my beloved in your eyes. You have her complete faith, and mine as well, of course. A kind heart, a strong heart, a clever planner. Oh, the things we can do with one such as you at our side. Suddenly he pauses and looks down at me. Oh, Madeline. Carefully, he detaches himself from me. You have, of course, been held in the most unpleasant conditions. It is an outrage what horrors they afflict upon such a lovely flower. It is they, and not you, who create such a trace. Is he implying that I stink? Well, I've been stuck down there a while. Maybe I do. I'm surprised he can tell, considering how much this room reeks of perfume. But I think I already have the perfect solution prepared. Colette steps out of the back room, her eyes downcast. Monsieur, are you certain that this is absolutely necessary? My dear Colette, I would not trifle with your affections thus for anything less. I know, but it is for my beloved, and for the honor and safety of her advocate, to whom we owe everything. Quickly now, take Madeline and make ready. We must not be caught unaware. She sighs. As you wish. This way, please. This is their plan? Oh dear. From my hiding place, I can still vaguely hear what is going on outside. There is a great deal of bustling in the distance. Cassidy must have called for action at last. Ah, that will be the guards. Open up in the name of the king. Here we go. Let us hope that luck is with us. We'll need it. What is this? What do you want? We need to take a look around, my lord. There is a dangerous criminal on the loose. If there were a criminal in my rooms, I would know it. Now go away. We have orders, my lord. This is for your own safety. The voices grow louder. They must be in the room now. No, no, no! You must not go in there! You will ruin everything! Right. Hold him. A guard charges past the ineffectually blustering Gaston and into the back room. So, we see a beautifully drawn image of Madeline and Colette in a bathtub together, averting their faces and bodies from the guard who has rushed in, and also Madeline has thrown a rubber ducky directly at his face. Which I just love that detail. And Colette screams. Sorry! With my hair wetted down like this, I once again look like a completely different person. Distracted by flesh and water and bubbles, the guards are completely incapable of recognizing me. Out! Out! All of you! Get out! Yes, miss. Sorry, miss. Mrs. Sorry. The guards beat a retreat back to the front room. Now see what you have done. Do you know how difficult it was to convince my two maids to share the same bath? And I was going to get to watch. Really? No! Sorry for disturbing you, my lord. Please let us know if you spot any suspicious individuals. Yes, of course. A little comedy for everyone, to lighten the mood. As soon as the door is closed, Colette climbs out of the bath and wraps a towel around herself. She leaves the room quickly, not looking back at me once. Well, I suppose she's seen more than enough of me already. Leave it to Prince Gaston to come up with such a novel method of distracting the guards. At least I think it was Gaston's idea. I can't imagine Cassidy suggesting such a thing. But then she was watching me change clothes. Anyway, the most important thing is that it worked. The second most important thing is that I'm getting a proper bath out of it. More than a proper bath, really. It would seem that Gaston is a fan of very decadent bathing. I've never seen so many oils and bubbles and scents before. After the rigors of the past 2 days, this feels indescribably blissful. There's another maid's uniform draped nearby waiting for me. For the moment, I am Mathilda, Gaston's undermaid and Colette's protégée. Madeleine Valois, as far as anyone knows, has escaped without a trace. I don't know how long such a cover will hold, but hopefully long enough to get back in touch with Cassidy and start unraveling this mystery. It would be nice to be able to speak to Oscar and let him know that I'm all right. When he hears that I've disappeared, he may be worried. But if Cassidy is right and Oscar is under heavy guard, that's the one place I can't afford to go. Even if Gaston or Colette tried to deliver a message, it would be suspicious. I can only hope that Cassidy herself can find some way to reassure him. It feels strange, being without Oscar. He has been the focus of my life for so long. But at the moment, I'm not exactly acting in his interests. I'm not acting against them either. I'm just acting. Who am I serving now? Cassidy? Gaston? Myself? I don't know. I'm not sure it matters. I'll help whoever I can and try to find the best way through. Certainly, ending up in Gaston's bathtub is a lot nicer than ending up in a dungeon. And that ends chapter 5. So, hold on. We're gonna save. So that was kind of a lighthearted comedy chapter to sort of loosen the barrage of sad, unhappy, unjust, horrible politics that have been thrown at us. So I'm going to stop there and we'll pick up chapter 6 on another day. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a Let's Play of the Royal Trap by Hanako Games. And once again, my name is Anna Mardal. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.